Okay, this is my reef tank. It's a 180, 6 feet long, 31 inches tall, 18 inches deep. Has a cabinet that I built. I bought the doors and drawers, and has a top that opens on these whatever you call them, gas struts. Works pretty well. And I've got them in stainless steel so they don't wear out. I was on the internet and a lot of people were complaining about the fact that these things would die after 6 months to a year and a half. Now I've got these two lights on temporarily, just some cheap lights. I've already bought this AP700 and haven't even taken it and installed it yet. It's a pretty nice little piece of equipment. Got the camera here for the tank. This is kind of nice in that I didn't want to have 3 doors, so I made some big doors, and then I just had this on rollers. This thing also moves out, so the whole unit can move away because it's also on rollers. So it comes off separately. That way I can get in behind the tank and do work. So there's about 6 inches behind the tank. So I can go in sideways and then close up the gap when I'm done. Now, one of the things I did here was I designed the whole thing on the computer. You can see here I can spin around, look at various parts of it. I can section it so that I can look down inside and work on it the way I want to. So I generated the cut list from this and then had it cut out at Home Depot, believe it or not, and then added the doors and drawers to it. So this is my planned system here. You've got the main display tank, and then out in the garage, everything over here is in the garage. I've got the sump, and then I've only got 1 tower so far, but I plan on buying 6 to 10 more, and I'm going to put plankton in those. Mostly zooplankton, but I may venture into phytoplankton. I'm going to have my food up here in a refrigerator, which I've got, and I'll show you that in a minute, and some peristaltic pumps. And then I've got a robot that I built, and it moves over, goes down, puts in food, goes up and goes to the next one, comes up, goes down into the next one. And then I'll show you that as well. Over here I have an algae scrubber, which is all the filtration that I use in the system. There's a picture of the robot that I designed, but I'll show you that out in the other room. Let's see here. This is the algae scrubber. So basically it's shaped like that with a weight on the end. This is the algae scrubber that was patented, and therefore nobody could build until just a couple of years ago when the patent ran out. Basically, when it's empty and you start filling it, the water's over here, so it's heavy on this end, but as it fills out, it gets heavier on this end, dumps, and then rights itself. And that causes a lot of turbulence in the water on the algae. Then when it pops back up, the water runs back down and causes a lot more turbulence. This makes it 50% more efficient than a typical downflow algae scrubber. Now you can make up for the efficiency by just having more surface area. So it's not that it's the most fantastic thing in the world, but I like it because it makes a splash in the tank, which I don't have set up yet. But I'll demonstrate that in a minute. One of the other things I've designed up is this calc reactor and calcium reactor combination. And a guy was going to print all these top parts for me in a 3D printer, but he got sent to Ireland several times and couldn't do it, so I decided to buy my own printer. And so I had that, and then this was the peristaltic pump with a stepper motor on it instead of a Cole Palmer pump motor. This is a duct that I was going to use, or a chute, that algae scrubber, the water comes out of this and moves over and comes back out onto the tank, so I can put the algae scrubber against the wall, which gives me a little bit more room to mess around with the lights. So now I'm going to go over here. This is where I'm going to start building the 3D printer, and these are all the parts for it. And these are some parts that I bought to build it with, but that's all down here. So it's going to have a bed of 12 by 12 by 16 in height. Now we go out into the garage. By the way, I've got all the piping running underneath here, and I've got to put the wood back, but it runs from the garage out to the fish tank. So now we're going to go out to the garage. And
to the extent that that violates the law, certainly not sit around and just play pats.
So this is the RODI setup, and there's the apex. It actually goes here on the wall, but I have it torn down temporarily. The main EB8 goes over here, and then the brain goes right here, and this tablet goes right up here. So right across the top they'll be all set up. Then this is a heavy-duty peristaltic pump for pumping 2 gallons per day, and then these little ones are for pumping trace elements or whatever. This is the refrigerator that I have, and this is the sump pump. I mean the sump. You can see that it's plumbed here in the back, and so it's a two-way system. When I put in water here, it goes to the fish tank, and then it comes back. Well, actually, I put it on the second one. It goes out to the fish tank, and it comes back here. And from here, I pump the water with the peristaltic pump out over to these tubes. Now, this is the first one. You see the